Hi, how are you today, sunshine? So this time I want to talk about, if you paid attention to any of my reading my diary videos, you can tell that I did watch some telenovelas when I was younger, but I still do watch them sometimes. What does a telenovela mean in my opinion? Well, it's a Mexican soap opera. That's all it is. And with basically growing up with them, I can say that they are in a way very similar. Sometimes because there are remakes. But they seem to all have these classical plots inside of them that it's hard to find one that doesn't have any of those. I don't know. If you can find one, please tell me. I'm gonna watch it right away. Anyway, let's start with the main characters. Main characters are obviously female and male, mostly. If not like pretty much all the time. As far as the last few ones that I watched, main characters have no parents whatsoever. Either the parents just died, or died when they were young, or they straight up have the parents missing. That's probably most frequently parents missing so they can appear later. Then there's often this money thing, or money difference. One of them is for sure rich and the other one is poor. That's quite popular. Or it also happens to be that one of them is appearing to be poor but technically has some rich father or whatever. There's always something about rich and poor. There's also always a few people who would do anything for the money. Anything. They would kill all the family members just to get everything. Or they would kill everyone and anyone to get the money. They would fraud. They would steal. It doesn't matter. They would just do anything for the money. Villains. Obviously, telenovelas need to have some villains / antagonists to destroy the life of the main characters. They mostly exist for that. Villains are different. Sometimes they're terrible. Oh my god, you have no idea. Once in Reina de Corazones, I was so pissed. They were both just sick in their minds. They were trying to get them in jail, but it never worked. Not once. While in the current telenovela that I'm watching, I assume it's gonna be over while I'm posting this, but the mean ones don't even get questioned at all. One has some powerful relative and the other one is just a professional faker. But at least these two don't make me as mad as the ones from the Reina de Corazones. They were disgusting. You have no idea. I didn't even know people could come up with a plot like that. I have nothing to say. I wish I could say it, but even if I do say it, I'm not gonna leave it in the video. It's just not gonna happen. Next one is, there must be at least a handful of people in love with the main characters. Let's just say at least 2 to 3 per character. It's always like that. The telenovela that I'm watching is Lo Imperdonable. They basically have each like 3 or so. What are also the classics is like falling down the stairs, or falling down the stairs and losing a baby, having an accident and losing memory. That's everywhere. Sometimes they lose memory for like half of the telenovela, or sometimes for some episodes. Fake dying. Normally main characters, they don't die because they fake their death, but it's just they happen to believe they died and they had some accident and they don't remember, so they don't come back, or they're running from something. Probably for some misunderstanding, which is another thing, misunderstandings. If there's some bullshit going on, for sure nobody's gonna want to listen to the truth. If there is lies, they please tell me lies, tell me more. It's quite a traditional thing that happens. They are supposed to be so in love, not necessarily the main characters, could be anyone in there, but when it comes to trusting their own partner, they rather listen to what people say, what is talked about, what potential lover says, what whoever other says, just not their actual partner. And then they also have huge problems with forgiving, even if there is nothing to forgive in the first place. But yeah, if there is, it's just like, I will never forgive you. That's just the line that you can hear many times in probably each novella. Bad people or villains, antagonists, or however you want to call them, they normally pay at the very end. Main characters never die. If they die, they just die. Why am I holding that? Everybody thinks they died, but they didn't really die. If they do die, they probably have a twin. It's funny. Like, you're like, why are you watching this? It's fun! There is one telenovela that totally took my shoes off, or how do I call it? It totally stunned me by the ending. It's Santa Diabla. That was so good. Oh my god. I would suggest you to watch that one. I also liked La que no podía amar. That one was also different. It was quite harsh. It was not, because normally telenovelas are very romantic. That one wasn't. That one was quite the opposite, because the main characters were really like into each other's hair. Like, they were basically, he was always pushing her away. He was like this upset, I would say, old man, because he was like really grumpy and and in the wheelchair, and he never let her in, or not for a long time. So that was also different. They didn't really use all these boring or overused plots. If you watched a few telenovelas, you know how it's gonna turn out. And if it doesn't, you're like, oh, I forgot one more thing. Revenge! There's many people who have to do stuff for revenge. They get married for revenge. They torture people for revenge. I would just say one thing. Don't go on revenge. Just don't do it. Life is gonna take care of them. You just do you. Revenge doesn't matter. It shouldn't exist. I should maybe also say that these people who are in love with the main characters, or whoever like is at the side who is in love with someone who can't love them back, they're always obsessed with them. It doesn't even feel like love, it's just this pure obsession. They just look crazy. Like, if you really loved someone, then wouldn't you like let them be with whoever they love, rather than to force that person away from them and force yourself into a relationship with them? I don't know, like, in a way, like, no, there's no people like that, but it's probably, unfortunately, true. It's also unlikely that nobody dies. It's very unlikely. The villain gets away with basically anything until the last parts, and then they pay. And I'm always looking forward to see how they pay for what they did, which I'm not always happy with. Sometimes they're genius, and sometimes it's just, that was not good enough. If they just die for all the damage they did, especially if they were like a really bad criminal, that's just not good enough. I'm really upset with that. Like, for example, in like Ruby, I think she was obsessed with her beauty. In the end, I think she lost her beauty. I'm not exactly sure how. It was a long time ago, or maybe that was something else. But yeah, the thing that she cared the most about, she lost. That was a good one. And in some other telenovela, I remember the guy ended up being an invalid, like from neck down. That was also, I like that. But when there's like a terrible person and they just end up dying, that's just lame. They were so bad. They were like the worst criminals, and they just hardly paid. How do you pay with dying? No, you don't. So I guess they're gonna pay in the next life. But yeah, it wasn't satisfactory. So there's that. If I get to write a telenovela, like, I need to come up with a good way to punish the bad people. If you lied that you're sick, you should definitely get that illness. Anyway, I'm gonna stop rambling. If you have any other things I forgot, or any novelas that I should watch, please suggest me down below. You know, I'm always coming at you with guns of love. Bye!
Life is what you